The Stone Carvers Guild Podcast is a part of the Stone Carvers Guild organization, which is a fantastic organization. Don't y'all agree?
Oh, yeah, it's great. And it's cheap, too.
It's well worth the price of admission.
It is, for sure. You can find out how to become a general member at stonecarversguild.org. There's a Get Involved section. And I've been a member of the Stone Carvers Guild since its inception. It's been an unbelievable resource as far as the knowledge. How did you describe it, Joel?
Oh, it's a living library of knowledge that the stone carving world otherwise is sort of hard to break into if you are looking around for it. I'm a general member. I'm not a full-time stone carver, but I love it from kind of a hobbyist, part-time perspective, but looking to learn more, and found that through the Stone Carvers Guild, through its forum, and through being able to connect easily with other like-minded folks like Bethany and Matthew.
Yeah. So if you want to be a general member, it's just $40, and you would have access to the resources, which include the forum, and then you can log on and you could ask Matthew questions on the forum.
Or anyone else.
Or anyone else.
And also there's the annual meeting, which I just love because once a year, getting together and sharing stories is an unbelievable experience. And that's something that's also available to general members.
Attend a general meeting or even become a professional member, which has other benefits as well. You just have to go to stonecarversguild.org and click on Get Involved at the top.
Join today.
Welcome to the Stone Carvers Guild Podcast. Here you will meet a variety of carvers working throughout North America. Drawing on our collective experience, we seek to share knowledge about this ancient art and to do our part to ensure that stone carving will play an important role in built environments for generations to come. So whether you are an experienced carver, new to the craft, or just curious, put on your safety goggles, open up your mind, and welcome to the workshop.
Janey could become the host of the show.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, Matt's in Austin, Texas area. I'm in just outside Minneapolis. Hearing a lot about that lately in the news. Joel's in Ohio, West Central Ohio.
Well done.
Bethany, where are you?
so I am in Charlottesville, Virginia, but I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. So this is exciting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where about in St. Paul?
Well, I grew up in Eagan, which is a suburb of St. Paul.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. South of the river.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now
Are
we got to
you-
introduce Janey.
Yeah. Who is it? Is this Joel's
This would
person
be
Or Matt's person?
I'm going to say Matt.
Okay.
Yeah, because Matt, I know what Matt looks like.
That's an ongoing joke here.
I know what Matt looks like now, too. I can verify that he is, in fact, a human being.
Yeah. We have this ongoing joke. We've never seen a picture of Matt because we just, although he did send us a picture in his rock and roll stuff.
You have also met Matt?
Yes, because
In the flesh?
when I go down to Indiana to teach at the Limestone
Mm.
Symposium, especially the more recent years, I stay at Amy Breyer's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Matt is often at the Limestone Symposium?
He was a instructor for the sculpting last year.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Amy,
Oh.
of course, Amy's president of our little organization,
Uh-huh.
and she puts a lot of work into the Limestone Symposium, I know. So
Yeah.
hoping to make it out there this year.
Yeah, you don't have very far to go. You don't have a good excuse for not getting there. Well, little kids, I can understand the little kid stuff. That's
So, Janey, I looked at your website, or actually, I think it was a Limestone Symposium. It had something on you, and you do letter carving. Is that your specialty?
well,
Or am I-
I started off as a calligrapher, a professional calligrapher.
Okay.
So when I okay, after high school, I went to Japan as an exchange student for a year, and got thrown into learning how to speak Japanese.
Wow.
And went back to high school again. I was the second tallest girl in my school. I'm not that particularly tall, but there I was relatively tall. And when I came back, I decided I have to major in it because I had just finally, 2 days before I was going to head back to the US, I finally dreamed in Japanese. And
Wow.
when you're learning a new language, that means it's really sinking into your head. And so I ended up majoring in it, and but not knowing what I wanted to do with it, because I didn't want to go live back in Japan. Not particularly, because I like Minnesota. uh, so while I was majoring in it, I thought, oh, I would love to take a serious calligraphy class at the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. And my sixth grade teacher had taught everybody in the class some italic calligraphy with dip pens and ink. And I really liked that. So anyways, while I was majoring in Japanese, I started taking this night school serious calligraphy class at the College of Art and Design, and loved it, absolutely loved it. And our instructor encouraged us in the class to go to one of the local calligraphy guild meetings. And I was so impressed. I joined the guild right then and there, and I'm still a member.
Do you remember what it was about calligraphy and those introductory courses that just really pulled you in?
I don't know. There's something about having a broad edge pen with the ink in it. Markers don't do it this way. A larger size pen with the ink. There's something about getting these precise letters down on the paper. And I was good at it. I did really well with it. So the teacher teaching that, I took the next class she offered, which was in another location, but I took that, and then I took a third one from her, and I was because I had joined our guild, I was taking every single workshop and going to all the meetings that I could possibly go, just soaking this stuff up. And so when I graduated, I started doing calligraphy professionally. Took a while to build up the business. Is that
like mainly like wedding invitations, things like that? I mean, who calls upon a professional calligrapher?
Well, once or twice I addressed an envelope to the White House.
Last year when we were in Indiana together, you wrote down the address to the library for me, and I felt like I had just received the nicest, most official communication I'd ever gotten when you just handed me the slip of paper with the address. Your handwriting is amazing. It's truly beautiful.
Wow. So who would pay for an envelope that was addressed to the White House? If I can be nitty gritty about it.
Well, after a while, I ended up building up a number of regular clientele, because they would have an annual recognition of all their employees dinner, or some annual event of some sort. One of them was Estee Lauder, the regional Estee Lauder office. They do a big to-do at a very nice country club, and
cool.
So I do all the name tags and little table cards for where everyone's going to sit. One of the divisions for 3M, I would do their annual thing. One of the
which is a big thing in Minnesota, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's like,
yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
One of the top architecture firms in the state, Hamel Green and Abramson, I would do their annual thing. So I knew who all the architects were.
Right.
which came in kind of handy years later when I had started to do letter carving, and I decided the best way to get some work with bigger projects that are budgeted and planned for earlier on in a building project or remodeling is get the architects to know that I exist and what I do. And so that the first year that I did that, what year was that? 90 or no, 80, no, 95, I think it was, or 96. Some of the name tags on the architects coming into my little 10 by 10 booth, I knew their names. I knew who they were.
Wow.
So, but anyway, as far as the calligraphy goes, I did honorary degrees for commencement speakers for the for one of the colleges here in town. Did some people would hear about me from someone else or pick up a flyer that I used to make the rounds of all the print and copy shops around town, and leave my flyer with them. And, they'd want a poem, a special poem done or something for a wedding gift or a special gift for somebody or whatever. So I was doing all sorts of different things. Mission statements for a church or a business to go on their wall or whatever. And so because I was very involved with our calligraphy guild, my Twin Cities based calligraphy guild was one of the more active and quite large when I joined guilds in the whole country. And our president decided, among others, some of the founding members, they wanted to have a big calligraphy conference up at St. John's University in Collegeville, Minnesota. It's northwest of St. Cloud, Minnesota. And it's a good place to do something like that. It's a men's Catholic university that has a mile or two away, and the next town is the women's at College of St. Benedict.
Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt, but are you part of the St. John's Bible Project then?
No.
Okay, never mind. But just, I actually know that the calligraphy, it was a totally different world. But anyway, okay. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, but I know people that did work on it.
Okay.
And
which was a huge project.
My second husband to be, the second year that we did, well, the first year we did a conference at St. John's was in 1981. And St. John's University, since World War II, they have had a very forward-thinking program of photographing page by page manuscripts in parts of the world where the documents are at high risk of being destroyed because of war or lack of being maintained or whatever. And it was started because someone that became a monk there had been in Europe during World War II, and he saw what happened to all these beautiful medieval or earlier just whole libraries and schools and collections just blown up or burnt up or whatever. So it became this effort to get photographic records of these collections of manuscripts. It's called the Hill Monastic Manuscript Library, or the Himmel for short. And you can go to St. John's University, go in the Himmel Library, and look at used to be all microfiche, the screen readers that you'd kind of crank through. Now they're trying to digitize everything that wasn't before, but they're continuing with efforts to get a record of manuscripts. So anyway, so St. John's University was a good location for our guild to do a calligraphy conference because people on there, when they had some time, when they weren't in class, they could go look at stuff at the Himmel Library and see what was on display in cases in the regular library, things like that. If you're ever up in Minnesota, the library, the main library at St. John's University has a good sized room devoted to display of the St. John's Bible Project. And it's called the St. John's Bible because the effort was launched from St. John's University. And the former scribe for the Queen of England, his name's Donald Jackson, he ended up becoming the person who was a top calligrapher to work with St. John's University and a whole lot of other people to create this all hand done Bible on vellum using all the medieval, the quills, grind your ink, the vellum pages, hand ground pigments, the whole works. And it was the first time a whole complete Bible had been done by hand since, I don't know how hundreds of years.
Since probably Gutenberg.
Well, Gutenberg was a printing press.
Well, I mean, since then, like after
Before,
that,
yeah,
why do it?
Yeah, and Gutenberg was 1450.
Right. So for quite some time.
Yeah. And it ended up being a much bigger project than anyone thought it would be. The pages are huge. They are when you've got it. A section of the Bible opened up, so you're looking at 2 pages. It's about maybe 2 feet high, and not quite as wide as that. Beautifully done. Many calligraphic illustrators, a number of different ones were invited to do illustration for some of the pages. A whole scriptorium was set up in Wales, and a number of calligraphers that Donald Jackson was connected with in England and Wales worked on hand lettering all the pages of it.
Wow.
And it's so big that the decision was made pretty early on that it had to be different. Instead of one big bound book, which would be very cumbersome to just plain open it up. It was put into 7 volumes, separately bound volumes.
Is there a historic precedent for that? I mean, is that something that was traditionally done way back when?
That's a good question. I would think it had been done at some point, especially for a larger size book.
Sure.
Maybe. Good question. No one's ever asked me that before. But the text for it, you might think, oh, well, you just grab a Bible and you just copy what the text is. No, because every different version of a Bible has a different text and punctuation. The translations are slightly different. All sorts of different things have happened with translations of Bibles over the centuries. So they realized, oh, what are we going to do here? So a committee of theologians was put together, and they would meet as needed to go through biblical texts and decide exactly how the St. John's Bible was going to be worded, down to every comma and apostrophe, whatever.
So it's not a one-to-one of an existing translation.
That's right.
It's its own.
It is the St. John's Bible.
Interesting.
Version.
Wow.
And Donald Jackson developed a unique script for it to be written out in, something that was very legible for a modern reader's eye, but of a style that the crew of scribes could all copy and make look the same as each other's. Because there were, I don't know, how many scribes did he have? Maybe 10? I'm guessing 8 to 10 different people were doing the writing of these pages. But your handwriting, your lettering has to match everyone else. So there were a lot of different things to be considered for the Bible. And St. John's also, they wanted to make it more available to people in general, worldwide. So they had facsimile copies made, full-size facsimile copies made. So when each of these vellum pages was done, once they were finished and completed in England, they were packed in Wales. They were packed into a very special, specially designed crate. And at the time it was Northwest Airlines. It wasn't Delta yet. They had an arrangement for this special crate to go onto a Northwest Airlines plane up in the cockpit with the pilots.
Wow.
Not down in the hold. And then it would go up to St. John's University. All the pages would be laid out in their conservation room, where the staff does conservation of manuscripts and repair, things like that. And every single page would be carefully examined and checked for accuracy and mistakes or whatever. And then the pages were sent off to, or leaves, actually, if you want the correct term, they were leaves. They were sent to a photography studio in another town, not too far away, to have each page digitally photographed with the highest camera tech that they had for the time, so that really high quality, full size facsimile Bibles could be made. And so some of the churches, like I'm sure the cathedral in St. Paul uh, has one of these 7-volume facsimile copies of the St. John's Bible. And the wood shop at St. John's, they'd make a nice stand, kind of a podium stand with 7 slots underneath to put each volume in, so that people could keep it stored all in one spot, and put one volume up on the podium and open it up so people could look at it.
Mm.
So yeah, it was a huge project, and a lot of people worked on it, and it took years. And Donald Jackson spent a lot of time just traveling around the world giving talks about it and helping raise funds. It cost a lot of money to do.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
All
so
right.
you were a part of that world that came out of, basically. Like
yeah.
You said you would go to St. John's and stuff.
So when I was at our calligraphy guild did the very first international calligraphy conference that had been held since Charlemagne's time at St. John's in 1981. And
wow.
Donald Jackson was our keynote instructor every morning. We had all 400 plus people in the old gym building, and everybody was being taught all at the same time how to do a beautiful medieval style decorated S on a piece of vellum, and putting gold leaf on it and beautiful colors and everything. And my role at that conference for the morning sessions was being a facilitator. So that what Donald Jackson was showing up on the big TV screen, they had camera right down on him. That was at the very beginning of doing that technology-wise. First time I'd seen anyone ever use that, where you have someone, he was up on stage with his hand with a quill and showing, okay, now you're going to do this step and you're going to outline your letter S here. And and
so
then
this
the
is what, like the 90s or what?
This was 81.
81. Oh, wow. Okay.
1981.
Okay.
And
okay.
It was amazing to see, wow, these big screens so everybody can see exactly what Donald's doing. And the facilitators, there were 24 of us like me. We had all this same instruction a couple weeks earlier in a private class with Donald Jackson. So we knew each step that he was going to be teaching everyone each morning of that week-long conference. So we were helping facilitate the instruction that he was giving all the other attendees. And so it was a big deal. And the excitement that it was just so vibrant and alive at that very first conference. Everyone was so excited to connect with other calligraphers because much like stone carving, how many, it's not like you got 5 different stone carvers that live on your block and you just go chat with them,
We're a small but merry group,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So this first conference, everyone was just so excited. And I know Donald Jackson and a bunch of other calligraphers were partying, I don't know, till like 3 a.m, right above my room. we were in dorm rooms that didn't have air conditioners in them yet, so the windows were open and it was hot, and it was just party, and I'm
those
trying to
calligraphy
sleep.
parties.
Yeah, how do medieval calligraphers party? Is it like
really good
mead
invitations.
Well,
with really
I
nice
don't
invitations.
hear. But it was just so wonderful to be with other calligraphers and to have everybody learning something every morning. And then in the afternoon we had you could choose what classes you wanted to take.
Cool. So how did you get into stone carving?
Okay, so I was doing a lot of professional calligraphy, and a lot of names and dates on certificates for one client that expanded a lot. And among the other calligraphy work that I was doing, at the 1984 conference that we sponsored again, 1981 was the start of an annual conference somewhere in the country every summer. And so it was back up at St. John's again in 1984. And one of the afternoon choice classes was just one afternoon. You could try carving a letter in slate. And it was taught by Paul Herrera, who had been the protege student of Father Edward Kadich, spelled Catich. And Father Edward Kadich, he taught at St. Ambrose College in Davenport, Iowa. Now it's a St. Ambrose University, but that's where he taught. And Father Kadich was the just by his own motivation of study and close examination of classic Roman capital letters, he became the expert on the Trajan column inscription in Rome. And anybody that is serious about designing fonts or previously typefaces, you study how those letter forms are, and they're beautiful. They're beautiful, graceful, lovely. And someone even said that Kadich, they were saying, "Oh, I think he became a priest so he could have closer access in Rome to be able to go make rubbings and castings of the Trajan inscription." Don't know if that's true, but
I'm sure there's easier ways to do that.
Well, not necessarily.
That might be the quickest path.
Hey, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. He did make a lot of castings of it. He was not the first, though. There's a plaster casting of it in the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. I think it's in that museum, or else it's the British Library, one or the other. But the problem with a plaster cast is that it does not stay exactly the same shape of whatever you cast. It shrinks a little bit when it sets. So for the purist of beautiful letter forms, the one in London is not exactly what the Trajan column inscription is. And the inscription is 6 lines, and it's lauding Emperor Trajan and all the how wonderful he is, and the column that goes up above it is a monumental carving piece in of itself. It has spiraling up around the exterior of these column barrels is relief carving of all the conquests of Trajan. Goes all the way up to the top. It's many stories high. And the inscription about Trajan is down at the bottom, kind of this little building thing.
And is it considered like the ideal form of Roman lettering? Is that
yeah
what's going on there?
In a nutshell, yes. In a nutshell, yes. And Kadich made many rubbings of it. Unfortunately, the bad acid rain air pollution when in the earlier days of cars in Rome, it degraded the marble, the white marble, quite a bit. So sharp edges of the letters were kind of dissolved away.
Wow.
It had degraded quite a bit in almost 2,000 years, and the time that my second husband Charlie and I were in Rome, we would have gone to look at it, but it was completely covered in scaffolding getting restored. So I have never seen the actual column. But the most accurate casting of it is owned by R.R. Donnelly Company in Chicago. And it is a fiberglass casting that Kadich made. And it's all one piece. It's more than it's 9.5 feet long and 4, let's see, how tall is it? I should have this memorized. About 4 feet high. And it's all one piece and a fiberglass casting. So it didn't have the shrinkage that a plaster one would. And Kadich made that one, and he painted the letters in with red paint. If you go to Rome and you're walking around and you're looking at letter carving all over the place, 1,000 years, 2,000 years old, it looks like, oh, they just carved the letters and there they are. Well, they were all painted in. And red was the most commonly used color to paint in an inscription.
Is that just for legibility reasons, or is there some significance, other significance?
Yeah, no, the point of putting carving lettering on a monument or over a doorway or whatever was for people to be able to read what it says.
Why do you think that fell out of favor? Because I've never seen that in modern carving. I mean, I'll see like darkened letters or, gold leaf lettering, but.
I usually do either paint in or put some sort of leaf in my letters that I do. Not always.
But I just mean, like, why the color red? I mean, do you use the color red? I mean, maybe it hasn't fallen out of favor. Maybe I'm just...
Sometimes it depends. It depends. And the paint that they used for red was a more light, stable color of red. It was usually same type of formula as used in medieval manuscripts of either a red lead based or mercuric oxide. So rather toxic, toxic to handle and everything. So it's harder to find a good red paint that's not of those formulas that are rather toxic, that stays light fast.
Right.
Yeah, that's been a challenge over the years for me. Lately, golden paints, an acrylic one is what I've used. They came up with a formulation of a certain color palette designed for murals to be painted on brick and concrete walls or stuccoed walls or whatever. And that seems to be a much better red of that golden has. That it's much better than any of the oil-based exterior enamel paints that I was using previous to that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So And the acrylic seems to last much longer too.
Interesting.
It has a little bit of, for lack of a better term, breathability. It lets some moisture escape through the paint instead of completely blocking it. And when you trap moisture behind the paint, that's when you get a little bit of chemical reaction deterioration between the back side of the paint and the stone.
Right.
With the oil-based paints. The golden seems to just hold up so much better.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So we still haven't gotten to where you learned how to carve letters.
Yeah.
Back to the conference.
Paul Herrera.
Okay, so the 1984 conference, I had this chance to take the letter carving class just for an afternoon.
Right.
And the calligrapher in me was thinking, okay, I want to do, I only have a few hours, so what letter do I want to do? And I decided I'll do a capital classic Roman R, because I have a straight, I have a diagonal, I have a curve.
Right.
And I was the only one that got my letter done. Turns out that Charlie, that became my second husband, he took the class the day before me. So, and he was a commercial lettering artist based in Chicago at that time. Top guy in the country for his commercial lettering work.
Wow.
And so he got a 24-hour jump on me. We found out years later.
Wow.
So, but I really liked it. What appealed to me about doing it in slate was the permanence of it. Because when you're doing calligraphy, you're doing it on paper, maybe on vellum, but most of the time it was on paper, a higher quality paper. But if it gets wet, it's ruined. It could burn up. But just not necessary. The longevity of, or lack thereof, is something that I thought, well, that's a shortcoming. The permanence, the longevity of doing something in stone really appealed to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid, our family was very geology oriented. I mean, we were picking up stones all over the place when we were on vacation, looking for agates and fossils and interesting minerals and stuff like that. So
I love the idea of a geology oriented family.
we were.
I love it.
After my dad died and we were going through stuff in the house, oh man, a lot of those rocks and things were I have a good collection now. There were used to be in buckets on the shelves in the laundry room at my dad's house. So anyway, that taste of carving a letter R in slate, I really liked it. So the next summer in '85, I went to the calligraphy conference that was held by a number of calligraphy guilds in the Los Angeles area. And I had a week-long class in the mornings with Paul Herrera to learn better the letter carving in slate. And for that class, we worked first with a broad edge brush, doing Roman letters first. So working on our layout for a couple days, and then tracing it onto our piece of slate, and then carving it, and trying to get gold leaf to work in LA in July when it's very hot and dry. If any of you have ever tried to put gold leaf on stone, if you have a very dry climate, it's extremely challenging because what you stick it on with, the sizing that you paint on first, it can dry so fast that you have timing, and trying to get your gold to stick is really difficult.
Interesting.
So anyways, so I went home with my last name in slate, with gold leaf on it. So I really liked it. So I just started doing more carving in slate. And I was salvaging slate blackboards off of school walls that schools that were going to get torn down. I got on a list of demolition sales for, when people could go into a building and just take the floorboards, take the light fixtures, take the slate blackboards off or whatever. And so that's what I started off with. But as time went on, I started taking commissions in letter carving on slate that I would paint in the letters. Then someone asked, in addition to doing my address, could you also do an egret, because I live on this lake? So I did a relief carving of an egret. So that started the relief carving. And eventually, I wasn't doing all that much calligraphy on paper anymore. It was pretty much the letter carving. And what was interesting about it was the respect level for what people expected to pay. And for the calligraphy work, the attitude, the public attitude of a lot of people was, oh, you just get out your pen and you just write it out. What's the big deal? Why should I pay you very well for it? Kind of a thing. As soon as it was carved in stone, oh my goodness, it was like, hey, now I can, a lot more respect for the work being done.
Yeah.
But starting as a calligrapher first, to me, it was just, I'm doing calligraphy or good Roman letter forms or whatever style of letters I'm going to do. I'm just doing it on another medium, and I'm carving it instead of using a pen. Actually, I'd still use the pen, maybe a lettering brush for the layout part of it. Execution, of course, is with a chisel and a mallet. But all the rules of good letter forms, the spacing, the layout, the design of the piece as a whole, all those basic things that a serious calligrapher learns, it still applies to a piece of stone.
Sure.
And carving letters in stone, if you don't have those, just because you carved the letters in stone, but they're not spaced well or whatever, it doesn't make it any better.
Right.
When Pope Francis died, I don't know if how many.
Oh, no, you're going to talk about the tomb, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Somebody sent that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't hijack the conversation, but I think I know what you're going to say.
Well, he wanted a simple tomb, and on the cover it just says Francis. But the
kerning is.
Oh,
you've heard about it.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It is absolutely horrible.
Tell me, because I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Just Google it. Just Google it.
One of my lettering, one of my letter carving students that now comes to the symposium every year. He first sent it to me. That's how I first heard about it. He said, "Oh, have you seen Francis's tomb cover?" And it was awful, absolutely awful. Whoever laid it out, it's all capital. Roman, not good Roman. They just picked a font. It wasn't hand lettered. Nothing. They picked a font, and then they measured exactly the same space between each letter. They didn't go by eyeballing it to see where the balance of spacing should be. kerning, as you guys are calling it. To me, as a calligrapher, I just say it's the space between the letters. It's your letter thing.
I would rather call it that. I like that. That's better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kerning is a font designer term.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if it was even hand carved, but it's really bad. It doesn't read right. And then the comments that some people said that, oh, Francis was a man of the human is not perfect, and the fact that the lettering is not perfect on his tomb cover reflects that. And I'm thinking, no, people, you just don't understand that this is crummy letter spacing. They did
the horrible thing
letter
about it
spacing
too.
and had no clue what they were doing.
And it's probably the thing, like, okay, if anybody ever sees a picture of letter carving in the world, it's probably on a super, super well-known tomb like that. And that's like the worst. It's the worst advertising for stone carving.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so terrible. Anyway.
Yeah, it just floors me. It just floored me that that was a relatively simple thing to do. It's kind of like, gee, maybe I should contact the Vatican and say, hey, would you like that redone? I'd be happy to do that for you. Bad.
Do it.
Yeah. So anyway, over the years, I didn't stick with slate because as things evolved work-wise, sometimes I was carving on a building that was already up. And a lot of the buildings around here are faced with a dolomitic limestone out of Mankato, Minnesota. Mankato Kasota stone is what it's often called. And sometimes Indiana limestone, but more often the Mankato Kasota stone. And so I had to learn how to carve different types of stone, and every type of stone is different. Even if it's out of the same quarry, it could be quarried from a different strata within a quarry, and it behaves differently.
Mm-hmm.
So as sculptors, if you've worked in different types of stone, you have some idea of that. But I started off with slate, then different types of limestone, marble, different marbles. Carrara's wonderful, but Colorado Ewell marble. Back in 1997, I took a couple weeks off carving in front of all summer long, sitting in front of half-height walls, stone walls outside, carving very big letters at University of St. Thomas in St. Paul. And I went out to Colorado to the Marble Symposium to learn how to use power tools to carve in marble and work fully three-dimensionally. And the first sculpture I did that I got a good start on over the 8 days there, but I didn't finish it. I had to finish it after I got home. Is a half life-size figure that my daughter ended up modeling for me, sitting reading a book, and there's books lined up on one side of her and some stacked up, and I have lots of different book titles on the books too. So letter carving comes in really handy. And it now sits in my local library.
Awesome.
And so the letter carving led to working in a lot of different types of stone. I've worked in different granite types of granite, quartzite. That's nasty.
Yeah.
There's a type of quartz that quartzite that is quarried at the very south central border of Idaho with Utah. It's in Idaho, but almost into Utah. And it is so tough because this particular type of quartzite, a large part of its composition is mica. And large flat pieces of mica infused in this stone. And I was carving the name of a place out in Jackson, Wyoming, and their address numbers, trying to go in on this stone, and it was so dang tough. It was it some of the chips sounded like bullets whizzing past me.
Wow.
And it did hurt if it hit my nose. And I used up a whole chisel or two working on that project over just a week because I had to keep resharpening it constantly. And that was a chisel tempered designed for carving some pretty tough granites. So,
Janey, we're getting close to the hour mark. There's a couple of things that I definitely want to touch on. First of all, when you were talking about knowing the basics of calligraphy as a foundation for stone carving lettering, is there like a book or some sort of reference that you would recommend to us and listeners that as a way to maybe learn those foundational? Assuming that not everybody has access to a talented calligrapher in their local area.
Yeah. One book that I when I used to teach a lot of calligraphy classes, I would have my beginning students get. And it's called Pen Lettering, and it's by Ann Camp, ANNCAMP. It's a little soft cover, nothing fancy book, but it's got basics of letter forms, spacing, and layout in it. It's a classic.
See it.
She was a British, very very highly skilled calligrapher.
And not an expensive investment, I can attest, online.
That's right. That's right. And it's been
pretty straightforward.
Had many printings over many years. You can find a used copy, I'm sure, on Abe Books.
The other thing that I wanted to make sure that we touched on is you're teaching at the Indiana Limestone Symposium this year. Do you know the details of that? And I'm trying to think of. I'm looking up the website because there's still availability for listeners to sign up. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, yes.
What are the dates that you'll be teaching there?
We are doing 2 weeks this year instead of 3, just to help keep our costs down a bit. So the letter carving class that I'm teaching is June, let's see, what is it, 8th through the 13th. The first day, though, is off-site. Last year we did it at the Monroe County Historical Center or History Center in Bloomington. Because they had a nice spot and the museum's not open on Mondays, staff is there. So this worked out really well. We had long tables and I could bring the what I have of the Trajan Roman inscription, and I could lay that out on a couple of tables for people to look at, full size. That's another story I'm not going to get into. That my husband had that. And I just worked with people on basic I'm trying to throw a lifetime of calligraphy at them in one day
Right.
of what a good letter forms are, what spacing is, some basic rules on that, and if they have an idea of what they do want to do letter carving, maybe be able to spend some time with individuals on that. But pencil and paper with a long ruler, basically, is what that work is.
And then you take
and
what they start on that first day, and then move it to stone. Is that kind of the thought process?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. So we start Monday inside, and then Tuesday through. Last year I did through Saturday morning. If anybody wanted to put in another half day on Saturday, they could do that. So,
And I looked it up. The URL address for that is limestone-symposium.org.
yes.
So, and it looks like it looks pretty straightforward of how to sign up and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Matt, are you teaching this year?
No, I'm not able to teach this year. I'm hoping to teach in next year if they'll have me. Put in a good word for me, Janey.
Yeah, I will. The second week I'm teaching the kids class in the mornings. And we have some flexibility. Like last year, there was a adult hand carver trying it out for the first time during the first week. And she signed up for a half day and said, "Oh, can I stay for the afternoon?" So she paid for the afternoon. Then she said, "Can I come back tomorrow?" So she came back the next day, and then the next day, and so we do have some flexibility like that. And that second week, because I'm teaching the kids in the morning, but there's also adult hand carving that can happen in the afternoons that second week, I think. But sometimes someone says, "Oh, I tried this, first week with the adult hand carving and I want to come back and work some more. Can I come back again?" I said, "Well, come the afternoon, after I'm done teaching the kids, or if you don't mind being done at the end of, where all the kids are, I can help you too, or whatever." So there's some flexibility there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Adult hand carving can people sign up for anywhere from half a day to the whole week.
Yeah, you can sign up for 2 full weeks if you want.
Yeah.
And really, last year there was one guy that was there for 2 weeks, and you're able to do quite a bit in 2 weeks. You can move a lot of material in that amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
When people are doing the letter carving for their first time, they find out that, oh, this is not going to happen as fast as I thought it would.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Because it's the detail of your letters is everything. And much like when you start on a sculptural piece, you're roughing out, which goes relatively fast. It looks like, oh, I'm getting down to my form. But the closer you get to your final finished form, everything slows down because your detail is important.
Right.
And letter carving is much like that. But with first-time letter carving students, there's a lot to think about as far as your
one of the great
form.
things about letter carving is, especially for new carvers, is that it's attainable. You can do it in a relatively, not short, but in a manageable amount of time. But it's also very exacting, which
Yes. Yeah.
is, I think, whenever I'm trying to teach somebody to carve, I want to teach them to be exacting at first, And then maybe later, you kind of move around and you just kind of feel your way around and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's good too. But you want to learn that exacting skill that lettering demands.
For me, the letter carving was the door opener that led to relief carving and then
Right.
3D sculpting too.
Right.
Yeah.
So
For me, it was egg and dart. My first carving project was I was on a team of carvers, but we had to carve, I think, somewhere around 700 to 800 linear feet of egg and dart.
yeah.
And that'll teach you to be efficient with your movements. That's the great thing about egg and dart is
what your experience reminds me of, a very good potter that I know up here, and ended up being a high school pottery teacher. He earlier in his teaching, he got a sabbatical, went over to Kyoto, Japan, and worked with one of the national treasure potters there. And he had to do 100 bowls and 100 teacups.
Right.
And they all had to be as exactly the same as possible.
Right.
Wow.
And he said that was the best thing he ever did. That repetition.
It's a little mind numbing, but it's pretty. It does train you. It really does. It turns everything into muscle memory, and so then you're just thinking about what you want to have happen after that.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
Janey,
we should
this has
jump
been an
off,
awesome
but Janey,
conversation. I'm going
yes.
to
And the last question. I'm sorry, Joel.
Go
How can
ahead.
people find out more about you, Janey? Do you have a website? Do you?
I am one of those
people?
weird people that I do not have a website.
Okay, so you're very exclusive. This is very high end of you to be completely inaccessible.
Well, not completely.
My friend Tim Feist, he says, "Who is this mysterious person, Janey Westin? I see she's on the Limestone Symposium website." I said, "Well, we have a treat for you. Well, guess who's coming up on the podcast?" This is very exciting. So there you go.
Yeah. Let's see. You could Google the Bear and Bunny Bench.
And that's how people get in touch with you?
That's a more recent sculptural
that's beautiful.
piece that I did for my local library. And it was so much fun. I started it when I was down at the symposium. I taught for a week and then I worked like crazy for 2 weeks, getting a lot of weight off of the biggest block. That one was so much fun, and it's got a lot of letter carving on it too.
And what was it you said to Google? I think I misheard you.
Bear
and Bunny Bench.
Oh, Bear and okay.
And I see it's brought up a colleaguesofcalligraphy.com.
Yeah, that's
post
my
about
guild.
it. Love it.
Yeah, that's my
beautiful.
calligrapher guild.
Yeah, we may have to use one of these
There we
photos
go.
for the cover photo of this podcast.
If you want to go to Dodge City, Kansas, the Catholic Cathedral that's up on the hill above town to the north side, there's a lovely life-size sculpture in Colorado Yule marble of Saint Maria Goretti.
Huh. Okay.
So she's in there.
You have very complicated methods of communication, but I love it. I really thank you so much for joining us, and it's been great talking with you.
It's been fun. It's never enough time. You get me started talking, and I could talk all day.
So come see at the Limestone Symposium, is what you're saying. That's that.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
thank you.
Joel, bring the family for a Thursday afternoon open house, and you could just go walk around and see what people have been working on.
I think I'm just going to sign up for the whole week.
Oh,
how's
good.
that?
There you go.
Sure.
You've been listening to the Stone Carvers Guild Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed this conversation, and we hope that you will find us online at stonecarversguild.org. There you can find photos showing some of the things that we discussed today, additional information about our guest, and if you're so inclined, ways to get more involved with the Guild and our ongoing activities. And of course, if you've enjoyed this podcast, we hope that you will subscribe and rate us on the podcaster of your choice. 5 stars, please. We'll be back in a month with a new episode, so until then, keep your hammer up and your chisel sharp.
The views and opinions expressed in the podcast do not necessarily reflect that of the Stone Carvers Guild. This content is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only. Thanks for listening.